Coach John. Thank you for watching this video. We're going to talk about another nutrition protocol today. Last time we did ketosis. This time we're going to talk about intermittent fasting, which is a style of eating. And I'm going to talk about the pros and cons, but first it's important to really understand what exactly it means. Well, before we can even talk about intermittent fasting, we need to figure out what breakfast means. Breakfast really means breaking the fast. So whether you go to bed at 11, wake up at 6 and you eat, you're breaking your fast at 6 a.m. So if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you don't eat till 11, your breakfast is at 11 o'clock. So breakfast is just a term that we give our meals to kind of give it some structure and some distinction. But really, breakfast is just the food that breaks your fast. So if you had a candy bar at 8 o'clock in the morning, that would be your breakfast, technically. I hope you're not eating candy bars at 8 o'clock in the morning, because if you are, we have a totally different video that we're gonna have to make. But let's talk about intermittent fasting. And the intermittent fasting is just the protocol of pushing your breakfast back however many hours that is. So there's a couple ways of doing it. Obviously there's 48-hour fasts, which means you just don't eat for 48 hours. Pretty tough. But there's other things that you can do that's far more manageable and more realistic for most people. And the most simple way of doing it is to push your breakfast back 5 to 7 hours. So let's say you go to bed at 11 o'clock, you wake up at 5 o'clock. At right around 10 to noon, anywhere between there is when you eat your first meal. So you're pushing your breakfast back 5 to 7 hours. The more complicated way is to push it back about 15 to 18 hours based off of when you ate last. So if you ate at 8 o'clock the night before, push it 12 hours, that's 8 a.m. Push it 15 hours, that would be 11 a.m. And you could keep going if you really wanted to. Now, what does that really do? Well, the goal is to oxidize more body fat because you're depleting your liver of liver glycogen, which is gonna force your body to figure out some sort of way to burn calories and to burn something for energy. So if you have no more glycogen rolling around in your bloodstream or in your liver, or you're depleting it from your muscle tissue, and you still need to be able to walk around and go to work and live life, your body, in theory, is more prone to burning more body fat. But the research, if you actually look at the research that has been proven to work, not just theoretical research or meta-analysis, that stuff has only been proven in rats. So you can use theory and you can use anecdotal evidence and you can use meta-analysis and things like that to come up with a pretty darn compelling argument that it would work really, really great for a human. The scientific research that supports intermittent fasting has really only been developed in rats. It's pretty tough to get people to not eat and to do it ethically to be able to peer review it later. Now that doesn't mean that intermittent fasting doesn't work for humans, because I do it every day, and I do it because I absolutely hate eating 4 to 5 meals, maybe even 6 meals a day, because that means I have to eat small little portions and I'm always hungry and it's not fun. So I eat 2 to 3 giant meals and I eat all my calories basically at one time. I like it that way. I'm also super busy. I train like 60 to 100 people a day, and sometimes that can kind of take up most of your day. So I don't have time to just scarf down food every 2 hours. So intermittent fasting works great for me. Let's talk about the pros and cons. The biggest pro is that it's a great method of eating for those who are super busy. So I'm super busy. I don't have time to walk around with a bunch of Tupperware eating 4 to 6 meals a day. Nor do I want to cook that much, nor do I want to eat that small of a portion size. So if you're super busy, this is a great method that you can use to still get in phenomenal shape, but not feel like you're constantly eating all the time. And so that's the biggest pro. Now, the second pro would be, anecdotally, there's a lot of evidence that shows that it works really well. There's a few peer-reviewed articles that show that it works really well. There's a lot of non-peer-reviewed articles that show that it works really well. And some of the really compelling information and compelling evidence and science behind it is starting to catch up. So there is a lot to say about intermittent fasting being very effective to getting you in amazing shape. Plus, if you think about it this way, our ancestors, the Greeks, the Romans, all those cool people that we like to watch movies about, they probably weren't eating 4 to 6 times a day. They probably were not eating, going out, hunting, bringing back food, cooking it, and then eating it. And they were probably eating a lot at once. And they were in great shape. So there is something to say for that. And then the last pro that I'm going to talk about is that it has been shown to help with hormone function. So let's take insulin, for example. So if you're not eating at all, it means you're not eating carbohydrates. So if you have type 2 diabetes or an insulin sensitivity issue, If you're pushing your breakfast back 5 to 7 hours or doing a 15-hour fast or something like that, you're gonna get some of that insulin sensitivity back so you can start combating some of those issues. It also been shown to increase testosterone, growth hormone, leptin levels, things like that, decrease cortisol, and just regulate things. Now, that doesn't mean that that works for everybody, which brings me to my first con, which is that it doesn't always regulate hormones for every person. Some people have been shown to increase their cortisol levels when they intermittent fast. Some people lose a lot of energy. Some people don't have mental clarity. So intermittent fasting, one of the pros that I forgot to mention is that it's supposed to give you mental clarity, focus, more sustainable energy long-term, things like that. Some people have shown to have the adverse effect. So they feel lethargic. They don't have a lot of focus. Their cortisol levels are higher and they just feel like blah. So if that's you shouldn't intermittent fast. The only way for you to really know that is for you to try it. And the only way for you to know if your hormones aren't working properly on an intermittent fasting protocol is if you got your hormones checked. Other than that, you kind of have to go by biofeedback, how you're feeling and how you're moving, what your focus is like, what's your sex drive like, things like that. And then the other con, and I think I'll just leave it to this one, is that if you get full really easily, probably not the best option for you because you're not going to finish all your food and the chances of you under-eating is pretty high. So just like you can't overeat to lose body fat, you can't under-eat either. So if you're having a hard time eating that much food at once, you might be a person that needs to eat smaller portions, which means you have to eat more frequently. The only way for you to know is to test it out. I hope this video helped you. If it did, let me know, like, comment. Make sure you subscribe to whatever social media platform you're watching this because it always helps me a lot. Every time you subscribe, it lets me know that I'm making an impact. It also lets the social media gods know that these videos are videos that people are watching. So it always helps me a lot if you subscribe. Give me a like, give me a comment. And if you want to be on my team and you want me to coach you through this journey and help you decipher all this craziness that I've been talking about, then go ahead and click the link somewhere on this video. You can schedule a free consultation with me and we can get to work, whether that's on the phone, doing online coaching, or it's offline, in person here at the gym. I'm happy to do it. So I hope this helps. I'll see you in the next video.